Hello from Stockholm, Sweden. We are live here again with another meditation sponsored by the Dolphin Star Temple. I want to give thanks to everyone who's made this possible, especially the board members of the Dolphin Star Temple, um, who have reached out and decided that this is a way in which we can share the teachings of the temple and also reach out to all of those who want to benefit from the meditations that we're offering. I'm a minister of the Dolphin Star Temple. For some years, I was the president of the organization. I'm very proud of those years. And I'm very happy to be able to meet with you and share a meditation this evening. So I wanted to say a few words about the genesis of this meditation on and for rebirth. And the genesis for this with me started with the fact that so many of my spiritual friends were talking to me and asking questions about what did all of this mean? What's the larger perspective on the outbreak of COVID-19 and how it's affecting the world and how it's affecting society? How do we look at this and make sense out of this in a spiritual way? And of course, there's lots of ideas, but one of the things I think I realized was that for me personally, at least initially, I was sort of focused on all the losses it was bringing to people's lives. I was focused on what this meant for my family and what it meant for my friends. And, so it was after reflecting on that and realizing that almost all people were in fact focused on the losses. I thought it was important to think about how there was something also being gained. And in a lot of the time that we've had in quarantine and in isolation, we've been able to reflect and we've been able to observe on the changing nature of our lives and those situations. I think it's obvious to see that a lot of old patterns have been broken and a lot of old limitations have maybe lost their power to affect us. We realize that maybe there are some ways, despite the limitations of where we can go, there are some ways in which we're freer. We've been liberated from the inside. And we also discover that a lot of our societal institutions, that seem to be so fixed and rigid, suddenly are able to adapt and make changes that no one thought possible. So I thought the question becomes then, what are we going to make out of this year? I mean, these are sort of the raw facts. The fact that something's being lost and something's being gained. And that's what brought me to thinking about the year 2020 as a year of rebirth, that we need an understanding of how our losses also are connected to the gains and the changes that are maybe up ahead. And maybe all this relates to the divine plan for Earth's evolution and the divine plan for the development of human consciousness. So I'd like to share a quote from Amorah Quan Yin. Amorah Quan Yin was the founder of the Dolphin Star Temple. She was my teacher and an inspiration throughout her life. She passed in 2013, and she left us a huge body of teachings and writings that you can access on the web pages of the Dolphin Star Temple. www.dolphinstartemple.org. I hope that you'll maybe take an opportunity to go there and explore the richness that's there for you. And when I was reading through some of the things Amorah had written, I found this that I wanted to share, and this is from a channeling that Amorah did from the Elohim, and the Elohim were talking about the changes that humanity was experiencing going into this era, going into the time that of accelerated development that seems that 2020 fits into. So anyway, here's the quote. The Elohim said, "The divine plan has been to come to a time at which these souls, they mean us, through experience on earth, could finally make conscious choices about their own destinies. Of course, every death is accompanied by another birth. It is a time when your heart, as the vessel of spirit, can finally be emptied of the past and become a beacon of awakening and healed potential. It is a time when the priorities of life become very clear. It is now a time such as that on a planetary level." So it seems that what the Elohim were talking about then is very much about the world that we're in now. So with that background, I wanted to say that the goal for today's meditation is to facilitate our process of rebirth. And by this, we shift our personal focus away from just that which is dying to what is being born, that we ourselves become the vessels through which humanity's rebirth is being expressed. And we'll do this today by visiting the Temple of Oneness, to be reborn in alignment with the highest spiritual principle of oneness. And we choose oneness as a transformational force so that the new possibilities for our lives hold the most sacred of alignments. By this, we choose to mold ourselves in alignment with oneness and to shape our future to be in alignment with oneness. We release ourselves to new possibilities in our lives. And in this process, we ask our higher selves to guide us through this release. We ourselves may not be able to understand where our newest evolution is taking us, but we can trust our higher selves, and we can trust the light of oneness to guide us in our process. So there will be 4 steps to the work that we do today. One is the setting of space around us. And once we have set that space as a foundation, then to make contact with the Temple of Oneness, the etheric Temple of Oneness. Then we journey into the temple to experience rebirth in the light of oneness that's held in the center of the temple. And then to exit back into our world while holding this new alignment. And we get through those 4 steps, maybe there'll be a little bit of time at the end for reflection and questions. So I ask you now to sit comfortably, to take a deep breath and relax. And close your eyes now for the remainder of the work. so that you can go deep, deep within yourself. I ask that you bring all your attention into yourself and into the center of yourself. And from that place, reach out to the consciousness of all the Earth's crystals. Let your frequency find an adjustment that lets you connect to the consciousness of the Earth's crystals. Reach out. They're so ready to make the connection with you. And then, in conjunction with the crystals of the Earth, ask that you be surrounded by a field of divine crystalline sacred geometry, that you be surrounded by a field of divine crystalline sacred geometry around you and through you, a field of divine crystalline sacred geometry. This creates a sacred space around you, a safe space, a secure space for all the work that's about to unfold. And at this time, too, ask for a field of the threefold sacred flames. The threefold sacred flames. That's the blue flame, the yellow gold flame, and the rose pink flame. These are the foundational flames of the entire all that is. These are the foundational flames of your soul space within you. The three sacred flames from the beginning of everything. Ask that they surround you with their energy to help you connect in the work that's about to unfold at the level of your soul's evolution. And ask too at this time that the space of this field around you be filled with the 7 rays of divine illumination. The great 7 rays of divine illumination. And by this, we ask to connect ourselves with the highest consciousness of all creation. We ask for this connection so that we might access the knowledge and understanding that's beyond our mind's capacities, to have access to the knowledge, to be able to move in alignment with knowledge that's beyond our biological mind's ability to follow. And in this, we make our connection at the sacred soul level to the divine knowledge that's above our level of incarnation. And ask now, too, for the presence of your higher self of the light, the highest level of yourself that holds your individuality, the highest frequency of your own awareness and consciousness. Ask that your higher self of the light be with you to help guide you and lead you through the process that's about to follow. And from where you are and where you're following this meditation, visualize now that you're so relaxed that you begin to float up out of your seat, that you begin to float up through the sky. You're being drawn up beyond the boundaries of the earth and taken into the etheric cosmos, to the high dimensional spaces. And there you are surrounded by the intergalactic consciousness. There you're surrounded by the stars, the star people, and all the higher councils. And in that place that you are, however you perceive it, however you experience it, declare now that you want to visit the temple of oneness. You want to visit the etheric temple of oneness. The temple of oneness is a gateway to the highest truth of creation, the ultimate oneness of all that is. Declare your intention. It's important that all the guides understand what you want to have happen. And tell them, speak out and declare that you wish to experience rebirth in alignment with oneness, to be reborn in a higher, new alignment with oneness. Hold that intention. Hold that intention and let yourself be guided to the temple of oneness, which is a beautiful white temple surrounded by a lush green garden. And let yourself be guided to a place where you can stand in the garden outside the temple, to be in the lush green garden, alongside with your higher self of the light. There in the garden, you're among many beings of light from many different levels of the cosmos. Here you might meet architects and builders of the cosmos, members of the highest councils of light. Here you may experience ascended masters from earth, masters who have walked the earth as you've walked the earth, and experienced these possibilities in the higher realms. And here also to meet the Dolphin Star Council, the Dolphin Star Temple Higher Council of the Light. Visualize for yourself that you can walk around this garden, encountering these many beings, so that you and your higher self are fully present in this garden. And if you look up at the temple, you'll see that it has an entranceway with steps leading up to a platform that open to the entrance. So begin to walk toward the entrance. Take the steps up and stand on the platform just outside the entrance to the temple. The first thing you need to do before entering the temple is to take off your shoes. And if you look, you'll also see that there's a small basin of water for you to rinse off your hands. So that when you enter the temple, you've done the sacred cleansing and your feet are directly in contact with the temple. stand in the entranceway and look inside the temple, you'll see that you're at one end of a long hallway that leads to the center of the temple. This is a passageway of transformation that leads you from where you are to the light of oneness in the center of the temple. Make a declaration, speaking it in any way that's appropriate for you, that you're prepared for the rebirth in alignment with your highest potential. Prepare yourself for the experience of the rebirth. And now take a few steps inside the doorway and step into the temple. You'll see that as you move down this long hallway, there'll be many stations along the way where you're to stop and process something about your life and about yourself before you reach the end of the hallway where you encounter the light of oneness. If you take the first few steps, stop and ask your higher self of the light to help you release whatever kinds of stray thoughts have been running through your head this day. To prepare yourself to have a clear focus, ask for help in releasing whatever thoughts, stray thoughts, minor thoughts, have been running through your head, to leave them behind, to clear your mind. And when you're ready, take a few more steps and then stop. And ask your higher self of the light to assist you in releasing whatever feelings have been bubbling up through the day, feelings that distract you and keep you from being totally present. Help release whatever feelings came up this day, to clear them away, to help you in being totally present to the process that's unfolding. And when you're ready, take a few more steps and stop. Ask your higher self to help you release any limiting ideas you have about what you're supposed to be, any ideas that have been projected onto you by others, or any ideas about who you're supposed to be that you've created yourself. All of these roles, all of these tasks that we're supposed to perform. Sometimes they feel like heavy coats that we carry around. And ask for the help of your higher self of the light to take them off, to take off the need to be something that somebody else wants you to be, to take off the need to fulfill something that you think that you're supposed to do, to let go of it all. You can leave it behind and take a few more steps down the hallway. And now ask your higher self, the light, to assist you, letting go of your mind's attempt to explain everything. Your mind is working so hard to explain what's ahead and what's happening. Let your higher self release that need to understand, because nothing actually needs to be explained. There's nothing that needs to be explained. And holding on to explanations and understanding limit your potential to go beyond the reaches of your understanding, to go beyond the reaches of your logic. Let go. There's nothing that you need to understand. This is not a process that you need to understand. And so, in pure sense of experience, take a few more steps forward and stop. Ask your higher self, the light, to help you release your deep-seated fears. Whatever fears you've been carrying around with you your entire life, whatever it is that's underneath the surface of everything, ask your higher self in the light to help you let it go. Let go of those fears, because in this place, there's nothing to fear. In this place, you're becoming more and more of your pure essence, coming closer and closer to your pure self. And fear has no place in this. Ask your higher self to help you move into a feeling of neutrality, where all feelings are possible and no feelings are dominant, to feel a balance of feelings. And as you become something closer and closer to your pure self, take a few more steps and stop. You're nearing the end of the hallway now. The light of oneness is not far ahead. And ask your higher self for the light now to help you release whatever parts of your outer self are no longer in alignment with your true self. Whatever else you're carrying, whatever those burdens are, whatever it is that's not in alignment with the true self that you hold in your heart, the true self within your heart, whatever's not in alignment with it, ask your higher self, the light, to help you release it. Beyond the mind's understanding, beyond feeling, to just let it go. And when you take a few more steps, it's finally time to slip out of the limitations of your body and just float. Just float as a conscious presence, to float into the center space of the temple, to simply float as a pure being of light into the light of oneness held in the center of the temple. The center of the temple is filled with a light from above, divine light of oneness. Allow yourself to just float freely in this space, to take into yourself what the light of oneness has to offer you, to help you feel the alignment, to feel what the alignment with oneness can be like for you, to be a pure conscious presence in the awareness of oneness, the oneness of all things. And you can ask the light of oneness to help you to be rebirthed in your purity. Ask the light of oneness to help you in a process of being reborn to your soul's essence of purity, to become a floating consciousness, a being of light, in the absolute purity of who you are. And as you're floating in the light of oneness, ask the light of oneness to help you to be rebirthed in perfect balance, to be in perfect balance in every way that you are, that you're in balance. To never be out of balance, to always hold your center, to hold all things in a perfect balance in your life. Ask to be rebirthed as a being of light in pure, perfect balance. And as you take these potentials for change into yourself, ask the light of oneness to help you be rebirthed in total clarity of who you are, in total clarity of where you fit into the world of the cosmos, in total clarity of what your mission for your life is. Ask the light of oneness to help you be rebirthed in total clarity. And from that place that you are, ask the light of a oneness now to help you be rebirthed in perfect harmony with all that is, to be in perfect harmony with all that is, to understand your light, and the light of everything that is the same light, one divine light, one divine source, all of creation. To be reborn in a feeling of harmony with everything that is, to know that there are in truth no separations. And it's time now to come back to the hallway, to turn around and look down the hallway through which you entered, and prepare yourself. Take a few steps down the hallway and stop and call to yourself all the love that you feel for living, all the love for life, all the love of being an incarnated being. Call all of that love to you. Pull that love to you. And when you feel that you have it, take a few more steps down the hallway toward the entrance and call to yourself all the love that you have for all the people in your life that you love, all of your loved ones, all the people who've been the love of your life, all the people who've been your friends and support, your company, your company and your community. All of these people, the people that you love who make up your life, call them to you, call that love to you. Remind yourself of the love that you have. And when you're ready, take a few more steps down the hallway toward the entrance, the original entrance, and call to yourself the many patterns and things of your life that give you joy, all the joyful things that you've done, all the joyful habits, the small things and the big things, all the things in your life that have made you happy, that have helped you to feel creative, that have generated love in you. Call them to you. Take a few more steps down the hall and stop. And call to yourself now images of all the places that you've been, that you've loved, all the locations, all the places that you've visited, the places that you live, the places where your life is unfolded. Think about the love that you have for all those places and bring that love back to you. Fill yourself with that love. Take a few more steps and call to yourself now all the love that you feel for the earth, the fabulous earth that you have shared with so many other beings of consciousness, all those beings of the earth, from the stone people to the plant people, to the animals, the creepy crawlers, the ones who float in the water and those who fly in the sky, the higher mammals of consciousness, the spirits of the forests and the lakes, all this consciousness of the earth. Call its love to you. And it's time now to stand in the entranceway, facing out from the temple toward the garden. And wrap yourself now. Wrap yourself in a robe of light. Wrap yourself in a robe of light to help you integrate, to help you reassemble yourself, and feel the love for yourself. Feel the love for yourself as a being of light. Think of yourself as a vessel for the light, as a vessel for this new consciousness that's evolving on the earth at this time. And as you step back into the world, place your feet back in your shoes. Carefully walk down the steps into the garden. And find a place in the garden where you can sit and rest. Around you are the masters, the angels, the higher beings from the high councils, the architects, the builders of the cosmos. They all understand what the temple of oneness is and what it means to be inside there. All beings of higher consciousness understand this and share this experience with you. And let yourself sit and rest. And it's time to come back to re-embrace your life in the physical world. And as you're sitting there in the garden, think of yourself also sitting where you are in your physical body. Your physical body is itself a thing of the earth. Take your place back in your body and feel the love and gratitude that you have for being incarnated in this life, knowing that you are yourself a being of light, held in the embrace of a physical form. And to help activate your body, take a very deep breath and release it. Maybe it's a good time to open your eyes. So I'd like us to do one more thing with our breath, which is to take 3 deep breaths, then take another breath and hold it, and hold our breath. And the purpose of doing that is to help hold and crystallize what we've just experienced as part of our light body, to move it into our fibers of light. So with me, take 3 deep breaths. 1, 2, 3, and one more. Hold that breath. When you're ready, release it. In this way, we make a conscious decision that our experiences are integrated with our light bodies. So I'd like to read another quote from Amorah Quan Yin. This time it's a quote from a channeling she did of Mother Mary. And the reading goes as follows. There will be a radical rebirthing. And for some, it will seem like chaos while this is occurring, while you can choose to let it bring great peace and great joy at knowing that the higher reality is being made manifest, that the purpose for Earth in general is being made actualized. And she says, do not weep for those you perceive as being left behind. For if they are choosing to hold on to a reality of limitation and survival, then your job is to love them enough to honor their free will and let go. These words channeled from Mother Mary. So be it. So I'm happy to have brought this meditation to you. I don't know what Facebook is doing, but I don't see any comments or anything. So it's time, I think, that I thank you for the opportunity to be in communion with you, and this opportunity to do service together for the evolution of consciousness and humanity and all consciousness on Earth in alignment with the great divine plan. So be it. Good night.